Well, hello everybody, welcome back to another camping and fishing episode. This is going to be our last episode here on the beautiful west coast of the South Island. And in today's episode, we're finally going to be heading up towards central Otago. We're going up the Haast Pass. But before we're going to do that, I wanted to check out two more camping and fishing spots here on the west coast. And you won't believe who we met when we finally arrived in Wānaka. We met some fellow YouTubers that you all know and love. And so stay tuned until the end of the video to see who we met there. The first spot we want to check out is the Gillespies Dock Campsite, and that is just a little bit south of Franz Josef, inland from Fox Glacier. This is a very unique dock campsite because there are only two dock campsites on the west coast that are right by the beach, and this is one of them. The other one is all the way up in Karamea. And the second spot we're going to check out is my all-time favorite, Jackson's Bay. There's a freedom campsite at Jackson's Bay, and it is a fantastic camping and fishing spot on the west coast. Afterwards, we're gonna have a quick stop in Haast, and then we head up the Haast Pass, which in my memory is a little bit steep, so I hope that's gonna be okay with our caravan. Now, the Gillespies Dock Campsite has been on my radar for a long time. We had some pretty nasty west coast weather for a couple of days, and we were camping up in Franz Josef at the NZMCA park. Look at that, my boat has already filled up with water. I thought I had fixed the leak on my car, but it's still leaking, so the tarp has to go over it. And that's the NZMCA park in the rain here. It's quite a busy place actually. Got a nice dump station and water there. We found ourselves a really nice spot in the corner. And look, I finished my little project. I installed rain gutters over the windows. Water is just running down the roof, and then it's not running down the window anymore. You can see how it's dripping down the rain gutter here instead. And I installed those things everywhere. There's one here over the fridge vents, bathroom window. I think that is pretty good. I had installed these kind of rain gutters on my bus that I used to have before, and that stopped water running down those hatches and windows and washing off the sealant around there. So these gutters are pretty cheap. You can buy them from the hardware stores. They're not gutters, they are called cappings. I think they use them for drywall. As a drywall capping or something like that. I'm no builder, so I'm not so sure what it's actually used for, but it's called capping. So they're PVC plastic cappings, and they just make perfect rain gutters here. You can buy the same stuff in RV stores as well, and they're a little bit more flexible. They come on a strip or something, but they got exactly the same kind of U shape, and they cost like, I don't know, like a couple $100, whilst these ones only cost you like $5 for 2-meter strip or something like that. So quite cost saving if you get it from a hardware store. Look at that, the rain is just picking up again. And because the Gillespies Dock Campsite isn't recommended for caravans, we decided to leave the caravan at the NZMCA park and just take the car for a quick day trip up there to see if it's actually true, if it's not suitable for caravans, or if we can later tow our caravan up there. It is a fairly long, narrow gravel road to get to the Gillespies Dock Campsite, so let's go. Well, everybody, we just arrived at the Gillespie dock campsite here. This is the place I just wanted to explore quickly. I wanted to come here with a caravan, but on the dock campsite it says it's not recommended for caravans, only for small camper vans. I guess because the sites are very small and the access road is quite narrow as well. Would have been easy to tow the caravan, to be honest. The road is not too bad, but yeah, maybe the sites are a little bit small. It's more like a car park. But let's have a quick look around, because I think this is a really good camping and fishing spot. I remember coming here many years ago with my tent, with my little camper van that I used to have, and it looked completely different. Either it was a different spot or they have just completely redesigned the campsite since then. There's a really nice beach here and some gold mining stuff and a couple of walks. So let's have a quick look around, shall we? So that's a pretty cool looking tree. Did you find a cool looking tree already? Anything in there? You see those campsites are very narrow, just little parking spots for each campsite.
You could make it here, but this is not the designated site.
Yeah, it's not marked as a designated site. It's a bit of a larger area, but each of those sites is really narrow, just for one car basically. Alright, look at that. That's the Gillespie beach here. Would be a really nice beach for fishing. That's why I think it's such a good camping and fishing spot, because yeah, we got this beautiful beach right behind the campsite, and look at that, perfect beach for surf casting and for drone fishing, I would say. I love how people get creative always around these beaches with driftwood and rocks and stuff like that. Someone built a little village here. Well guys, I should have considered that the condition is really nice out here today. I should have checked fishing reminders weather forecast for the swell, because there's no swell at all. When we were still in Front Joseph, it looked all pretty rainy over there, and I thought, oh, I'll just don't take any fishing gear. But it would have been a perfect condition right now for drone fishing. Sea is really flat out there. Damn, that's always, what happens when you don't plan everything properly. Let's go for a little walk instead. Let's go to the Gillespie Lagoon walk. That way. That's an interesting looking gold mining relic here. The old dredge, just left here as it is, rusting away and rotting away in that little pond, like Indiana Jones style. It must have been quite some effort to bring all those pebbles here to make that walking track. It's a long walking track here. Wonder who's done that. Supposed dock.
Look, these trees are all completely different shapes. It looks all interesting, right, guys? I love forest and lanes.
Well, there you have it.
Oh, look, this red flower like Putokawa, but it's a southern lata tree that's got red flowers there now.
So yeah, I think it's a pretty good camping and fishing spot, Gillespie Beach. Maybe another time we take the caravan down here. Maybe in winter it's better, because then you don't have so many others. Then you have more space, you can take a couple of sites. Well, we're now going to Lake Matheson. I think that's called also the Mirror Lake, because it's mirroring the Mount Cook. And you get some nice mirror images in there, so we're going to have a little bit of a look there. There's a walkway around. A nice cafe that is already closed despite all the tourists. So we got a couple of walks here, 1 hour 30 for the circuit. So we're going to do that now. Perfect reflection of the mountains. This is the most famous spot here at Lake Matheson. That's why everyone comes here, because you want to see the reflection. That's why it's called the mirror lake, right? It only works when it's a clear day, I suppose, and not so ripply like today. The view of views. Now that sounds promising, eh? Let's go and have a look to the view of all views. It's a steep climb up to the views of all views. No mountain view today. No, that is the view we're looking for, eh? That is the view we want. These guys have the best view around.
Life is good. They don't know they live in the dream, eh?
Probably not.
Like people, they don't realize they live in the dream. And
maybe they think as well as humans, the grass is always greener on the other side. Alright guys, let's head off to Jackson's Bay. This is a beautiful spot and I'm really looking forward to do a little bit of fishing and camping there. The drive to Jackson's Bay is absolutely spectacular. It really looks like you're driving through Jurassic Park. And there are so many nice river crossings along the way and beaches, but there isn't really any campsite. There used to be one parkover property in Haast, which was a good option to stay. I wish NZMCA will at some stage maybe purchase a little bit of land or lease some land and build an NZMCA park in Haast. That would be so good, because the whole area around Haast and between Haast and Jackson's Bay is just a perfect place for fishing. There's so many opportunities for fishing. But at least we still have Jackson's Bay where we can stay and it's free. There are no facilities, no water or anything, so we can't really stay there for long. Only a couple of days, and then we'll have to go back to the dump station to Haast, right? Jackson's Bay has a very long jetty, which could be good for land-based fishing. There's some good diving spots around there. There's a boat launching area right there. And the other thing that makes it quite unique is that the bay, like the coastline, is turning around, so the bay is almost facing eastwards instead of west, even though you're on the west coast. So you get quite a different condition there for fishing. The swell is different, everything is quite different, and usually it's a very calm spot for fishing because of that geographical feature and being protected from the southwest. There's a very rocky coastline around Jackson's Bay, so it is also very good for diving. Now Jackson's Bay has a freedom camp, and it is not really a signposted freedom camp, and I was a little bit worried that this freedom camping option has been removed because I couldn't see it on the app anymore. But yeah, when you look at the West Coast Council site, if I remember right, they have like designated areas for freedom camping, and the reserve in Jackson's Bay is still listed as such, whilst the road that leads into Jackson's Bay has a sign that there is no freedom camping allowed along the edges. There's also the famous Craypot restaurant, which is quite surprising for being such a remote location. But yeah, Jackson Bay is a place where commercial cray fishing is going on, similar to Kaikoura on the other side. Just recently there was some big flooding going on, and parts of the road to Jackson's Bay had been destroyed, but they're just rebuilding them at the moment. When we arrived there, it took us a little while to figure out where we can actually park, because yeah, there's no really a signpost for the freedom campsite. But we figured out after talking to some people that we can park in that little reserve area at the end of Jackson's Bay, which is a good spot for freedom camping because straight from there you're right next to the boat ramp basically. My plan was to take the boat out there and do a little bit of fishing the next day. And I was also quite excited to do maybe a little bit of diving and perhaps even catch a crayfish. But as luck would have it, when we arrived, the conditions were absolutely perfect, clear as water, and it was just stunning. After we set up our caravan, we had a quick cup of coffee, and just in that moment the wind started to turn around and pick up and chopped up the whole bay. Within minutes the clear water turned into a milky soup. It was quite amazing. I didn't think it's going to happen that fast. So my dreams for those nice crayfish and for a little bit of diving were shattered immediately, unfortunately. And even my dreams for taking the boat out around the headland were smashed into pieces straight away because of the shop that picked up right away, and around the corner it was coming from the southwestern side. So it would have still been somewhat possible to take the boat out in the bay itself. It wouldn't have been super pleasant, but it would have been possible. But around the corner where I actually wanted to go, there were some big swells coming in, and it made this my fishing expedition that I wanted to go on pretty much impossible. We were just 1 or 2 days too late. We were talking to some people and they told us that they couldn't even park there because there were so many boats, because the tuna season is in full swing there at the moment. All the boaties were gone straight away as well. Now this shows you how quickly the conditions on the west coast can change from a moment of total serenity, perfect condition, just in minutes turning into unfishable conditions really. Now, having our fishing dreams shattered, we just settled down, had a little bit of dinner, and the next morning when we got up, we had a knock on the door. The owner from the Craypot restaurant came by and asked us how long we intend to camp there. At first we thought maybe we aren't allowed to camp here at all, but he told us that a group of helicopters is coming in. There are like 4 or 5 or even more helicopters were supposed to land in that little small area where the Freedom Camping area is, and they flew their helicopters in there to actually go to the Craypot restaurant to have their meal there. So we packed up quickly and moved our caravan further up the road. And a little bit later we watched all these helicopters come in, and we went for a walk down there to have a look what's going on. And sure enough, there was a group of fairly young people all coming out of these helicopters, and they just came there just to eat at the Craypot restaurant. Now imagine how much this must cost, flying helicopters all over the Fjordland and to come there just to have a Craypot or eat some crayfish in the Craypot restaurant there. It was quite cool to see though, all these helicopters landing in that small area and how they managed to do that.
Number 4. Number 5 coming.
That was our Freedom campsite earlier. guys, if there's one thing I regret in my life, then it's not becoming a helicopter pilot. I would have loved to be a helicopter pilot. Imagine the life. It's gonna be so much fun flying those things every day. Well, there's this private function, and I didn't believe it when they said there are 5 helicopters coming here, that they just come here to go to eat at the Craypot. I thought, no way, that can't be, but it's true. It's a whole bunch of people that were flown in with helicopters to eat at the Craypot. I don't know where they came from. Must have done a tour around Fjordland or something. So yeah, that was our second day, and because conditions didn't really improve much, we decided then to just go for a little bit of a hike, small hike where we can walk up to the river. And then the forecast for the next couple of days didn't look good at all. So we decided just come back another time for fishing and just head up to Wānaka straight away. Whew. It is quite amazing that someone is maintaining such a nice hiking track out here in the middle of nowhere. Big thanks to all the dog rangers out there who watch our videos. We love all the work and effort you put into making those great walks for us to enjoy.
Just arrived at the dump station, guys. Mince and cheese pie from the shop.
And $9.50 for the pie. I mean, it's not more than the one we got in Westport. It's alright, got a nice amount of cheese on it. Mince and cheese, can't go wrong with a mince and cheese pie. But this one seems to be homemade. Now for the last couple of days I was a little bit worried about driving up the Haast pass and towing the heavy 3-ton caravan up there. And I remember when we still had our bus and were towing our little car, we were coming down that way from Wānaka, and yeah, I just remembered it being very steep, and I thought it's gonna be a bit of a struggle towing this heavy caravan up there. And you know, you always, when you're towing those heavy things, you always worry about the engine maybe overheating or something like that when you go up those steep passes.
So now we are going over the Haast pass. I'm already changing to non-sand fly mode now.
This is where we have to go up to, all the way to the top.
So
Alright, well, we just arrived at the Cameron Flat Dock campsite, and we're kind of perplexed. We're completely perplexed because we feel like we missed the Haast pass. It wasn't steep at all. There was nothing really. There was a one steep bit, short steep bit that we drove up to, and then afterwards it was pretty level and totally different from memory. I thought this place was really steep. This is not even nearly as steep as, like, let's say the Takaka Hill, or maybe even the worst one so far was probably French Pass, driving up that bit. But yeah, we feel like we missed out on something. Or we're gonna have a bit of a short lunch break at Cameron Flat. No one here at the moment. Supposedly this place gets shocker full in the afternoon. Nice little dock campsite with some beautiful views. If you camp here,
Yeah.
then at least you can't have anyone in front of you, in front of the door. It's like a bit of a terraced campsite, and actually on the other side there's the Blue Pools car park. There are tons of car park there at the moment. Yeah, let's have a little bit of a lunch. Make sure we don't get the sand flies here. So if you guys going up there with your caravans, don't worry, it's actually it's a piece of cake. Yay, goal! Oh, that was a little bit too easy. Well, everybody, we just arrived in Wānaka and Albert Town campground, and actually turned out quite nice. It's a little bit close to the road for my liking. The road is just over there, and yeah, there's a bit of a construction as well. Oh no, it's a one-way bridge, so everyone has to wait a little bit. But yeah, we got the river right behind us, and it's a huge campground. Albert Town. We've driven past here a few times, but we never actually stayed. And guess who is here at the moment? You guys probably know them all. The Leopards Gone Wild. We drove in last night, and Haitian said, look, this is the Leopards Gone Wild caravan. And yeah, pretty cool. They got a really nice channel. Most of you will know them, but if you don't know them, Leopards Gone Wild, they are a full-time traveling family. They travel around New Zealand, and they do really nice videos from all the spots they go to.
Stunning beaches and coastlines. We are the Leopard family, and I'm Mike, Soph, Jade, Riley, and Toby. And this is our home, which we get to park in lots of different and unique places all over the country. So let's get this adventure started.
So we're just gonna say hello quickly to them, and yeah, then we're gonna do our shopping afterwards.
Oh, look who it is.
Hey man,
Nice
Mike.
to see another YouTuber out on the road.
Yeah, guys, Leopards Gone Wild here on, I always think Albert Town, but it's, what
It
is
is
it?
Albert Town.
It is Albert Town.
It is Albert Town.
I always mess it up with Albert Town.
We've spent a lot of time here over the summer. It's been a good spot having the river to jump in. It's even hot today, eh?
Yeah. I went for a nice swim last night. It was awesome, actually. Yeah.
It's you never know where people are at watching their videos, because we watch your videos, try and get some fishing tips, because if you watch our videos, you know that we are not very often successful at catching some fish, but I've been catching a lot of sharks, but we've just been throwing those ones back. But
yeah, but these guys got the aero drone now too, so
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah.
forward to see some catches with the drone.
yeah, well, we've put it to a bit of use, but when we're in Southland, we just keep getting way too much wind. Like sitting at the beach just wasn't fun, and your fishing line out, it kind of gets caught and ends up. Yeah, but we're wanting to get some more fishing done for sure. We want to eat some fresh fish, but yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see that. And maybe some of our videos are helpful as well with the aero drone.
Yeah, and which way are you guys going?
Well, we're gonna be heading south, so we're going to the Mavora Lakes, where you guys made the video recently.
Yeah,
so
we loved it out there.
Yeah, looking forward to a bit of trout fishing.
Yeah, mate. Oh, change it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice to meet everybody.
Yeah,
I'm sure
guys.
I've seen people though comment on our videos, comment on your videos too.
There's lots of you that we met on the road. They always ask us, "Oh, have you met the leopards already on the road?"
And now we
always
have. We should actually make a plan to meet up, and you can help me with my fishing.
Yeah, it would be good to make a fishing video together, huh?
Yeah, we've been following your channel quite some time. Finally, here we are. We met these guys here.
Yeah, it's good to meet other people, eh? And
Yay.
a lot of people say, "Oh, I really want to know what they're like in real life." I'm like, "Oh, we're so just like we are on the camera." That's what I always tell people.
Finally get into the real.
Yeah. We're just
You're actually quite taller than I thought.
I get that comment a lot from people, like, "Oh, you look a lot different than you do on the camera." I don't know how to take that comment actually when people say that.
Oof, just came back from a little bit of a run. Great running and walking track here at the Albertown campground, just on the other side of the river. But the coolest thing about this little campground is the swimming hole right in front of it. After sweating and exercise, you can just jump in there. It's so nice.
So good. I can do uno, dos, tres.
That is refreshing. Look at that, swimming like a pro. You can't stand anymore.
Okay.
Asian swims like a pro, but when she thinks she can't stand anymore, then she'll sink like a piece of lead. Well, that's probably the cheapest campground here in this whole Queenstown, Wānaka area. It only costs $11 per person per night, so it is actually pretty cheap. Well, if you don't account for the freedom campsites, but the freedom campsites around here are really shit. So it's probably the best option in this whole area. That's why we run flocks here. And this campground is so busy. But apparently the place we're going to next, the Kids Bush Reserve, is going to be equally busy with people. So yeah, this season seems to be very crazy. Even the guys in Haast at the spot, on the spot shop, told us that this has been the busiest season for a long time, since COVID, or even longer. I still remember the first time I came to Wānaka together with Haast here in 2006, it must have been. And I just remember that it's a small, quaint little mountain town, Haast?
Yeah, nothing actually.
It was a small little town only.
Yeah.
And holy shit now. It's like driving through Auckland. There's just traffic jams and people everywhere. So many outdoor shops and all that. I mean, the views are just stunning. This is a cycle track up that goes along that river here for 11 kilometers. But how much more picturesque could it be?
Oh, real, yeah.
It couldn't get any more picturesque, I think. Look at the reflections in the river there. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning, the scenery here. It is such a contrast to the West Coast where we just came from. The West Coast is beautiful as well. It's like a jungle. It's green and all these ancient forests and trees there. But then you come up here and it's only not even an hour, but an hour drive probably from Haast to come up here to Wānaka, and suddenly you got this extreme contrast in scenery. It's like going to another country suddenly, and it's just an hour drive. And that's what we love so much about New Zealand. You got all these different kind of environments, and they're easy to reach and quick to reach. I wish I could film that all a little bit better, so you guys at home, when you watch that, you can get a better feel for the grandiosity of this place. but it's hard to film. It is the waterfront of Wānaka here, and we wanted to go to the pie shop here. There's somewhat of a famous pie shop in Wānaka. We wanted to get ourselves 2 pies for lunch, but yeah, holy cow, all the car parks are completely full here, middle of the week. I mean, it is crazy touristic. We got to get out of here as quick as we can. Someone was just leaving here. Managed to get 1 car park to pick up a pie. Oh guys, and it's so hot as well here. What do you reckon, Haitian?
I think we must run away from this town quickly.
Yeah, let's get some pie and run away. Titty tea, what kind of name is that? What kind of name is Titty tea? Oh, you got mine.
I had 1 bite from yours.
Butter chicken. So it was $18 for 2 pies and 1 Coke. That means a pie is less than $9, maybe $8 for a pie. That's not too bad.
That's right. That's right.
Oranges, good for juicing, not so good for eating, these ones. Yeah, everybody, we're at the end of our episode. To wrap it up a little bit, we just wanted to show you 2 pretty cool camping and fishing spots on the west coast, and then just take you along on our journey up the Haast Pass to Wānaka. In our next episode, we'll be going to a very good camping and fishing spot again. We're going to be doing a bit of freshwater fishing. We're going to the Kids Bush Reserve, which means we are backtracking a little bit from Wānaka, the way we came from, another 30 kilometers back towards Haast, and there's a really cool dog campsite there, and it is at a perfect fishing and camping spot. Now in our next episode, I want to try something new. Now surprisingly, there isn't any fishing shop in Wānaka, but there's a boating shop, and I went in there to buy myself a lead core line. And I wanted to try to fish with a lead core line for the first time, because people have been telling me that this is very successful for catching trout in those lakes. So far I've only been using a paravein, which has been somewhat successful, but never with a lead core line. So this is going to be coming up in our next episode, and I promise in our next episode we're going to be catching some really nice fish as well, and I'll show you guys how I get on with this lead core line. So guys, make sure to stay tuned and subscribe. If you give us a like and you subscribe to our channel, this will really help us grow and be able to make more of those type of videos if you enjoy them.